and welcome to today's video. Today, I'll be showing you how to use a couple cool new features in Mari, the USD Preview Surface Shader and the USD Export Manager. Both of these features were designed to clear up some of the friction in the pipeline between Mari and Katana, and when used together, allow you to seamlessly integrate USD into your pipeline. So, the first thing that we'll be looking at in this video is the USD Preview Surface Shader within Mari. This shader allows you to create a flattened USD material network look that can then be used to provide richer looking assets in hydropowered viewports in applications like Katana. This shader can be used in tandem with your primary vendor shader or Mari's principled BRDF, allowing you to drive both the preview and final look of your assets in the same project, so you can alter your assets preview look earlier in the pipeline. To set this shader up, navigate to the shader palette and click the Add Shader button. Then navigate to Lighting, Standalone and select USD Preview Surface from the drop-down. When the shader is applied, you'll notice that your asset no longer has any textures applied to it and is now a flat grey. This is because we haven't assigned any maps to the new shader's channel inputs. If we take a look at the list of inputs in the shader palette, we can see that the Preview Surface shader actually has really similar inputs to Mari's principled BRDF or other vendor shaders. To assign your maps to your shader's channel inputs, all you need to do is click the button next to the channel name and then assign the map to its respective channel. So for example, the diffuse map will be assigned to the diffuse input, the specular map to the specular input, and so on. Once everything is assigned, you can see that we have a really nice, rich preview of our asset. By using the USD Preview Surface shader, we're able to get a better approximation of how our asset will look when viewed in Katana's Hydro Viewer from within Mari. So, now that we have the shader set up, how do we get our USD look out of Mari? In this release, the Export Manager has also received an update, in the form of a new tab called USD Export. This tab is similar to the regular Export Manager in that from here you can override the depth and resolution of your maps as well as change the file extension and directories. But where it differs is that it also handles exporting your USD look and also allows you to create an assembly file, set your USD root name and set your UV set names within the USD file. If your scene has a USD Preview Surface shader within it, the Export Manager will automatically pick it up and list all the objects with a USD Preview Surface applied to them, as well as the maps that they contain. I'm now just going to go over what these options mean and why you would use them. So the first is the USD look file. The USD look file will create an export that only contains the look of your asset. This means that only your materials, assignments and shading nodes will be exported, while your model will not. So if I bring a look file into Katana and then open it up in a network material edit, you can see that within the network material edit, my shader network has been set up and I have all the components needed to assign this material to my asset if I need to. However, if you want an assembled USD file with both your model and the look combined, you'll be wanting the assembly file. To create the assembly, you will also need a payload USD file that contains your geometry. The assembly parameter can be left as is, but in the payload parameter, you will need to manually direct Mari to where the USD file containing all your assets geometry lives by clicking the button next to the input field, navigating to where your payload is saved, and then pressing OK. When assigned, the assembly file will then read this payload and then use it as a reference to assign your shader to your model. So if I open up the assembly in Katana, you can see that the asset can now be viewed in the Hydro Viewer, and the shader is automatically applied without having to create any additional network material nodes. The two other parameters in the Export Manager that are important to be aware of are the root name and the UV set name parameters. In order for the assembly and look files to work as expected, both of these need to have some attention paid to them. For root name, it's important that this matches the root name of your USD payload file. If I quickly open up my payload in a text editor, I can see that the root name of my payload is dragon_main. This means that in my root name parameter, I need to change the default text to dragon_main. When inputting your root name, it's important to also follow absolute path formatting conventions and prefix your root name with a /. With the UV set name, leave it as is. ST is the standard name for UV maps when working with USD, But some digital content creation packages that allow you to export as a USD format may have their UV map names set to map1 or something similar. If the SD parameter is changed or not set, the UV map name in your USD file will not be correct and your textures will not map properly. Once everything is set up, all you need to do is click Export to USD and your USD look file and assembly files will be exported. Once exported, you can find your assembly, look files as well as your textures in your save location. From there, you can import your USD files into any digital content creation package that supports Hydra viewports. For more information on Mari, check out learn.foundry.com/Mari for tutorials, articles and the user guide. Additional information on USD can be found in the description below. Thanks for watching and happy painting!